I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. What happened there? Did you turn that off? That was funky. I was on another screen. All right. Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the episode 293 of the Political Spotlight. I am your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey. And we are just getting ready to get some things set up here. I'm just trying to finish a couple quick housekeeping things here. Stand by. I hope everybody had a good day, and I hope it was a fairly good day today. I spent a lot of the day looking at some records, obviously looking through the records from the city of Muncie that we're going to be looking at and talking about tomorrow. If you didn't tune in last night to last night's show, I kind of previewed an extremely large amount of records that I received from the city of Muncie yesterday. I'm quite happy with them. We're going to be going through all of those records tomorrow, so I've been prepping that. Matter of fact, tonight's show probably won't be as long as normal. We'll probably do a little bit shorter show tonight for a couple of reasons. First of all, last night's show was extremely long. We were almost 3 hours last night. We packed in quite a bit of information. Generally, what normally I would like to do is I would have liked to have covered both of the topics last night in two different shows, but because we had two really big meetings in the same day, I wanted to get them both in. So last night's show was long, and I can tell you just at the outset, tomorrow night's show will be a long show. Now, I talked to producer Kate last night about this, and I want to ask you all right here, right now, for those of you that are watching live, and for those of you that are commenting, I want to ask a question, and I want your input. Tomorrow night's show, to get through everything, probably is going to be definitely a 2-hour show. Maybe 2 hours and 20 minutes, 2 hours and 30 minutes. Would it be better for us to come on an hour earlier and for us to come on at 8 p.m. tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern, instead of 9 p.m. Eastern? And so we would run basically, we would run 8 to 9, 9 to 10, and then 10:30. Would it be better for us to do that? Or do you prefer we still come on at 9 o'clock and run from 9 until 11:30? To me, it seems like it would be better to pop on earlier. So we've got one person that says 8 p.m. Alva says love earlier. Okay. So 8 p.m. will be what we'll be doing tomorrow. I will start plastering that everywhere so people know. Tomorrow's show, look, I'm not 100% convinced that we're going to find anything wild or out of line. I'm not sure. We might not find anything that's like some massive big smoking gun. I will tell you what we will do. We will find things that people will be like, oh, I don't know if I agree with that. I don't think I agree with that. We are going to find some money that is expended and people are going to be like, holy crap, they're doing that. I mean, folks, let me tell you this. When we're looking at the city of Muncie and we're going to look at a credit card expenditure, and in 1 month, the city police chief is expending $23,000 on a credit card. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Absolutely nuts. All right, so everybody is saying earlier. So, okay, that means tomorrow night's show will be more than likely an hour earlier than normal. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, that's what we will do, because I haven't seen even one person saying, I haven't seen even one person being like, no, go later. So what we will do is tomorrow, our show will start at 8 p.m. So remember, Thursday's episode 294 will start an hour earlier than usual at 8 p.m. Eastern. So we'll keep that up on the screen for a little bit to make sure everyone is familiar. Hello there, Julie. Thank you for stopping in. Yeah, late's better late than never. Okay, so I want to take care of a couple of things here just briefly. Let me wrap this up here really quick. Let me make sure here we're getting night. Council. Oops. Okay. So I have I've finished that. Again, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that are watching, for those of you that know anyone in the city of Muncie, for any of you that know anyone that votes in Muncie or that is concerned with what goes on in Muncie, you will want to perhaps share this episode with them. Let them know that we are running tonight's review. I normally like to have a little bit more commentary where I don't, it's not just us watching meetings and me talking about the meeting. I like to give you a little bit more thought and put some like actual thought into things and talk about stuff, not just happening in meetings. However, this week, it is important to watch what's going on and to, take care of what they're doing in these meetings, because specifically in the city of Muncie, this is a really important, matter. I mean, the city's budget is very important. And matter of fact, I think when we watch the Board of Works meeting here in just a few moments, I think we're actually going to have a first tonight. We're going to have a record-breaking, I think today there was actually a record-breaking Board of Works meeting. I'm going to have Kate tell me if that's exactly true or not, and maybe some of you from the audience will recall. So, ladies and gentlemen, all right, to bring us up to speed, take care of our housekeeping, I've got everything that I needed to do out of the way, got everything going. We are ready to rock and roll here, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you all for being here. I know you could be anywhere, and we appreciate your time. Kate's obviously down at the controls, making sure things work well, and we are doing the best that we could do. I want to ask you to take just a moment, if you will, and do your part for the show. Like the episode. If you get a chance, hit that thumbs up. It really does a lot to help get us further out into the YouTube world, and it helps with the algorithms, yada, yada, yada. You know how that is. If you are not subscribed, please consider doing so. Click that bell. If you're watching live with us tonight on Wednesday evening, then we would love for you to communicate with us. We are a very interactive show, and we like to hear what you've got to say, so that is important. And above all else, please share the show with everyone you know. I want to say, obviously, along with that, tonight is Wednesday, the September 25th. That's a big thing there, September 25th. I appreciate the fact that we are getting a little further into the fall season. We creep just a little bit closer each and every day. Every day we get a little further into the year, and every day, amazingly, like clockwork, we go one more day without communication from Councilor Basham. I sent out an email today to the city councilors, all 9 of them. I will talk about that email here in just a moment, but amazingly, I did not get response. I did receive correspondence back from some councilors. Dale Basham was not one of them. So here we are for the record. I do need to state this is the 269th day of the year. Basham has been a councilor for 269 days, starting before he took office. And on the day they took office, January the 1st, I sent an email to all 9 councilors, and I gave them all a 24-hour period to answer, which most of them did. Dale Basham had not answered on the 2nd. And from the 2nd forward, we've counted up, and we are at 268 days without communication from a Muncie sitting city councilor. There's just no excuse. It's gross. It's bad. While we are in the mood and counting things up or counting things down, I will let you know that we also have 41 days. 41 days until this year's general election. And for Julie, I tried to call you yesterday, and I want to put this out there. I'm not going to, let's not get into the whole big thing. I just want to let you know, you more than likely have your mail-in ballots. You should have received your mail-in ballots. If you haven't, you will be receiving them very shortly. And if you need any help, if you need me to walk you through what you need to do, like we did in May, I can get with you guys sometime tomorrow or Friday, and we can take care of that. So I just wanted to put that out there for you, but you guys should have those. They are sending out mail-in ballots. If you're interested, you can put in for that. I highly suggest, unless you have just an absolute reason not to do mail-in ballots, unless you have a reason to do it. If you want to vote early in person, that starts on the 8th of October. And that's something that you can do. Obviously, Election Day is Tuesday, November 5th. And so it is what it is. But that will be the 41 days from now. While we are at that, I will also say, as normal, there are 12 days until voters registration ends. Voters registration ends in 12 days. It ends on Monday, October 7th, 2024. It ends at 11:59 p.m. If you are not registered, please do that now. Please go to www.indianavoters.com. Again, that's www.indianavoters.com. Indianavoters.com. That's Indiana Voters with an S at the end. INDIANAVOTERS.com. It will take exactly 3 minutes or less to register. It will take even less time if you need to check your registration, if you've moved, if you've gotten married, if you've been adopted, whatever, if your name's changed, if information's changed, get on there and check. It doesn't hurt for anyone to get on and check. You definitely should do that. You only have 12 days, and you do not want to let this slip up and you to forget it. So go there, www.indianavoters with an S at the end, indianavoters.com. Do it today. Do not delay. All right. So today is Wednesday, obviously. So we had a Muncie Board of Works meeting this morning. I've got to say they're still having problems with the streaming. I don't know what's going on. I wish they would just go back to the old way they've always done it. I wish they would get rid of the communications page. I wish the city of Muncie would go back to the old way. I don't understand. If it's not broke, don't try to fix it. I mean, this administration has done a piss poor job of attempting to fix things to begin with. So specifically for them to take something that worked beautifully, the one thing that we had is we were able to communicate to them and let them see it right there on the Facebook page. We were able to see the meetings. We were able to leave our thoughts, our concerns. And right now is like, nah, I don't want to do that. I'm afraid my business friends are seeing it. I'm afraid we're not being able to fool people into thinking that we're doing a good job. And so they axed that, and that's a problem. Just absolutely crazy to me. Just absolutely crazy. So because of that, they're still having issues. Okay. I wanted to bring that up and say they're still having some issues. I believe we, however, will be able to get through the Board of Works meeting because I had it pulled up and was watching it, and I currently still have that feed going. I have not changed it. So we will be able to watch it. There are some people that are saying they can see it. Others are saying they can't. It's totally it's totally confused. I don't know why. Again, just there's no need to try to fix something that's not broken. I don't know why they dabble around with crazy stuff like that. There's no reason to try and do things like that you don't otherwise, just don't mess with things that are perfect how they were. Besides the Board of Works meeting, there is also a community update, which we will try and watch. I hope that we will be able to pull that off. I don't know why we wouldn't be able to, but again, only time will tell when we actually go to it and try to get it to work. It may or may not. It may or may not work. Time will tell. We'll go through that, and then we will go through the finance committee meeting. And I also, before we start in on the meetings, I wanted to bring everybody up to speed. The other night, when was it? Sunday night, I think I brought up the uncensored politics. We talked about the uncensored politics. And in that, I was talking about that group, the political project uncensored group. And we were talking about, the various things. And one of the people that were watching that night, I think specifically it was the person that was commenting under Muncie Love or Love of Muncie. That person went back and told the people that I was talking about that they made an appearance on the podcast, which is perfectly what I wanted. I wanted them to know it's not like I'm talking behind their back. Normally, you don't get on and put up a microphone and video and send it out to the world if you're gossiping behind somebody's back. That's not what happens. I was literally putting it out to the world. And I just want to clarify a few things, because one of those people reached out to me and was like, "Hey, bud, I thought we got along. I don't know why you're trashing me." And I'm like, "Look, I'm just telling it how it is. My beef, my biggest part of my beef wasn't specifically with Troy Tackett. I mean, Troy is who Troy is. I disagree with him nearly on everything. It's laughable that he runs a group called the Political Project Uncensored. And it's literally the most locked down entity that there is, period. It's nuts to me. So that's my beef with Troy. That and the fact that he was copying and pasting my comments and my content. He doesn't like me putting my content in, and people don't like my content, but it's okay for him to steal my content and put in his group. That's my problem with Troy. My biggest beef, though, however, was with my old dear friend, Fran Tucker, who simply didn't like what I was saying about her mayor. And so she attacked me and slandered me and yada, 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 Lisa Crow Goodpasture and more. And so those are the people I talked about. And Troy got a hold of me. He's like, "Hey, you got to fix this, bud. You got to go on there and tell them, like, we don't have a problem." And I'm like, "Look, I'm not doing that. I do have a problem that you run a group called Take the Uncensored out of your group, and you'll never hear me talk about you again. Take that off your group. Call it the Political Echo Chamber, the Muncie Political Six or something like that." But I digress. That's not the only message I got. Before we get into the main part of tonight's show, I was contacted by a Delaware County councilor today. Last night's show, we talked about the Delaware County Council and we talked about the Muncie City Council Finance Committee. And you all know what the main parts of the show was. One of the teeniest, teeny bits of last night's show, it was not the most important, it was just something I covered in passing, was the whole deal with Chris Music. Chris Music getting up and saying what he said. I disagree with literally everything he said, but I don't disagree with his ability to say what he was saying. He has the right to say what he was saying, how he was saying it, where he was saying it, when he was saying it. You know, that's all good. I don't disagree with that in the least bit. He has a right to say what he wants to say. Matter of fact, attempting to stop him from saying it is absolutely a First Amendment rights violation. It's called viewpoint discrimination, and it is very bad. It's very concerning. I'm very proud of our Delaware County Sheriff, who not only is he, just some background. Tony, as a man, as a citizen in Delaware County, he is the sheriff, but he's also a citizen. He is friends with Scott Brand, and he's backing Scott Brand. And he was sitting, not Scott, Steve, Scott Brand. Scott Brand is a former cop, no relation. Steve Brand, sorry, I kept saying Scott. Steve Brand, the candidate running for commissioner, Stephen Brand. Tony is friends with Stephen Brand, and he's backing Stephen Brand, and he was sitting next to Stephen Brand in the meeting. And when Jessica and Matt looked over at Tony, Tony went, Tony wasn't getting involved. So I have my hats off to Tony for that. Tony did the right thing in saying, Mom, I'm not, he's not doing anything illegal. I'm not taking him out of here. And so I went on my little bit of my rant last night about this. So today I get up and I wasn't paying attention to any of my social medias. I wasn't doing anything like that. And about 3 o'clock today, I noticed that I had quite a bit of messages, and I started going through them. One of these messages was from Delaware County Councilor Matt Kantz. Now, I do want to say he is from a councilor. He was in that meeting, and I think he was actively trying to get Sheriff Tony Skinner to do something. Matt did not message me from an official page. It was from his private page. So I do want to put that out there. This is what Mr. Councilor Kantz had to say. He says, Mr. Music, he I don't know if he watched last night's show or he knows that I'd be unhappy or what the deal is, but he said this. Mr. Music committed a Class A misdemeanor yesterday at the council meeting. Indiana Code 314.316. Then he doesn't go on to spell out the code. He just gives it to me. And he goes on to say, this is a satellite voting site. I guess meaning the Delaware County building, which that is true. It is. He goes on and he says, this is the only one in Delaware County currently. As if this needed to be said, since he is a candidate, for goodness sake. He is off his rocker, but I wanted to be clear with you in case this is brought up. To which I said, it was not a satellite voting site yesterday. It is not a satellite voting site yesterday. It was not. It will not be a satellite voting site until October 8th. We'll get back to that in a moment. I go on to say, look, my personal opinion, Chris Music is a liberal far outreaching, left-leaning liberal with far outreaching liberal ideas that I disagree with. I don't agree with majority of his ideas. I will go out of my way to avoid listening to the majority of his ideas. You have a First Amendment right to speak. That doesn't mean I have to listen to you. You have a right to speak. I have a right to decide whether I'm going to listen to you or not. But I said, I will, however, fight to the death his right to speak. I said, you guys screwed up. Tony did right by not engaging. Stephen is a big boy. He doesn't need Jessica or Matt to save him. That was viewpoint discrimination. Matt doubles down by saying it was illegal. Although I don't disagree that he probably would have just buried himself even more. I don't know what he means by that. I was like, okay, whatever. I said, well, we'll have to test this. To which he says, even you haven't embarrassed yourself enough to do that. I said, enough to do what? Enough to feel like if I have something to say that isn't violent, that I should say it in a public meeting, in a public building, during business hours, in front of my employees. I promise you, if or when I want to campaign against Jessica or book out or Matt Kantz during a public meeting, I will. And you can beat your gavel with all the fire and muster you have. I'm fine with that. But if I am not permitted to speak, if I say my piece and during that my First Amendment rights are violated, I would sue and win. I then sent him a link to the Indiana Democratic Party, and where they're asking for volunteers and asking for people to get involved. And I said, here's the best way to get involved with a party that doesn't support what I normally believe are conservative constitutional rights. And I got that. And then he told me he got me on a roll. And then I said, Matt, I try to hate you, but I just can't. I just can't. Kantz. Sorry for the pun. So Kate's shaking her head. She didn't like it. That's hilarious. Okay, so that being said, I think Kantz and I like to fight back and forth with each other. I want to talk about this for a second. Indiana Code 314.316 is interference with free and equal elections, electioneering. Electioneering, as used in this section, electioneering includes expressing support or opposition to any candidate or political party, expressing approval or disapproval of any public question in any manner that could reasonably be expected to convey that support or opposition to another individual. The term includes wearing or displaying an article of clothing, sign, button, or placard that states the name of any political party or includes the name or picture or photograph or any other likeness of any currently elected federal, state, county, or local official. The term does not include expressing support or opposition to a candidate or political party or expressing approval or disapproval of a public question in material mailed to a voter or a telephone or electronic communication with a voter. All right, then it goes on to say this. B, a person who knowingly does electioneering on election day within the polls or the chute, which is a 50-foot radius around the polls, within an area in the office of the circuit court clerk or satellite office of the circuit court clerk established under 311.10.26.3, used by an absentee voter board to permit an individual to cast an absentee ballot, or except for a voter who is the person's spouse, an incapacitated person as defined in 29.317.5, for whom the person has been appointed to the guardian, or a member of the person's household, in the presence of a voter whom the person knows possesses an absentee ballot, or provided to the voter in accordance with Indiana law, commits a Class A misdemeanor. So, dear Mr. Councilor Kantz, let me be very clear before you start vocalizing the law to me, sir. Know what the hell you are talking about. First and foremost, the Delaware County building where that ordeal happened yesterday is a building with various offices that are open to the public Monday through Friday from 8 to 4, and lots of different things occur in that period. For Mr. Music to have been in violation of this, he would have needed to be doing what he was doing, not in the commissioner's courtroom on the 3rd floor of the building, but rather he would have needed to be on the 1st floor, either inside the office of the voters registration where the satellite voting occurs, or anywhere within a 50-foot radius of that, saying what he was saying, only when voting is occurring. See, listen, a lot of polling sites occur at schools or occur at churches or other public buildings. That does not mean right now, if I go to Union Chapel Church and I walk up to the doors and I say, I support Brand for office, that I'm electioneering. No, because there is no voting going on there. Electioneering only occurs when the voting is happening. So, first of all, in order for what you would have said to be accurate, voting would need to have been happening, and it's not. And it won't be until October 8th. Let me tell you a story that I'm very happy to hear. And I'm going to test this out, and we're going to test this out. I'm going to go to the next council meeting, and I'm going to pick a candidate that I don't support. We'll just say Brad Bookout. Oh, and we'll say Jessica Piper. And I'm going to electioneer. I'm going to campaign against those two officials in the same capacity on the 22nd of October. Now, the difference between what Chris Music did yesterday and what I will do on the 22nd is, on the 22nd, voting will actually be occurring in the building. The difference, though, my friends, is I will not be in the room with the voting, nor will I be in the chute or anywhere around that building, anywhere around the 50-foot radius of that building. I will be on the 3rd floor of that building and completely walled off from any type of voting going on. So, Mr. Kantz and whoever gave him that code, because I don't think that, I think what probably happened is Mr. Freeman gave him and Jessica that. And if that, let me tell you this right now. Let me tell you this right now. If that's the kind of legal advice that Ben Freeman is giving our county council, they should fire him immediately and get more legal advice, because that is not sound. That is nuts. You don't have to give up your constitutional right on election day in a public meeting because satellite voting is occurring 3 floors below you in a public building during business hours where you're legally allowed to be where you are. So I just needed to get that out, put that on the record. I will also be telling him this all privately, but I just don't want that to be being spread around out in the open and these people think, oh yeah, they're right. Again, I'm defending Chris Music. I'm defending his First Amendment right. I'm not defending his thoughts or whatever. I don't care about his thoughts. I don't care about his actions, his intentions. I don't care about his comments, whatever. I care about his First Amendment rights. So I'm an absolutist, and it is what it is. That's I definitely don't. I specifically don't like when they're trying to call people criminals for utilizing their First Amendment right. I just don't understand how these people continue to call themselves Republicans. It blows my mind. So October is going to be a busy month for the First Amendment and me. We got the deal in Madison County. We've got the deal with Delaware County. Any other counties want to get in the mix? I'm hearing there's some hubbub going on in Henry County with Sheriff Sproles. We might talk about that just a little bit briefly tomorrow. Someone has just woken up all of a sudden and started punching back against Sproles about the beanbag incident. It's kind of like, wait a minute, where have you been for the last 2 years? All right. So onward with the meetings. I'm going to first pull this up here and we're going to share this. First of all, I need to look at this. Let me look at this here real quick. Troy Wackett for mayor. How dare he try to comment publicly during a public comments? What the nerve? You're correct. State law can't overrule the First Amendment. That's absolutely correct. Shame on him. Like I go out of my way to not see Tackett's words. Punny people should... that's hilarious. I get it. I was like, wait, what? Shit. All right, I get it. Yeah. We can argue that the clerk's office is actual satellite. Yeah, that's absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. All I know is they should prepare themselves for a lawsuit. If the lawsuit is not filed, then Mr. Music is an idiot. Now, the one thing I will tell you, the reason I don't know that he has a case is because I found out he sat down of his own accord. So he did speak as they were gaveling. He spoke. He continued to speak on a little bit. I think he got his point out. And then I thought someone came up and took him out of there or stopped him. That did not happen. He just sat down of his own accord. So while they did interrupt him, he then spoke after that. They then interrupted him again, and he continued speaking. And then they started to interrupt him a third time, and he sat down. So the difference there, that's a little bit of a gray area. I mean, they were trying to stop him, and it was a muddle thing, but they didn't take him out of the room. He stayed in the meeting. Matter of fact, he sat there until the meeting was up, and then he got up and left. So it is what it is. They, fortunately they didn't take him out of there. So, probably what I'll do when I go to the meeting is I will bring up the fact that this is floating around about this electioneering situation. And I will remind them, that as public servants that took an oath to the Constitution, that Constitution includes the First Amendment. And it's amazing that they need to be reminded of that every couple of weeks or months. It's really nuts. So I see that, Alva. All right. Now, onward with the meeting. I had to talk about some other things because these meetings just really aren't that long. They really zoomed through the budget meeting today. Nora is in a... What is this? All right. So in that time we've talking, did they literally take down... All right. See what we're looking at. Here's the Finance Committee meeting. Here's the Sanitary District meeting from last week. Go here, home. What do we got going on here? Okay. City of Muncie Communications 6 hours ago. Community update. Okay, here's the Board of Works. Is it going to work? Start the volume. It's not going to work. Man, don't these people really and
we're just going to have to start sharing the stream for the 8 freaking minutes that it is. Just so they have the option to play it back without having to complain at them for 2 weeks that it's not working before they finally get off their asses and do anything.
And
ridiculous.
I'm telling the city needs to get rid of Mark Slusher. I hate saying that. I'm not trying to take a job away from anybody, but what's the problem all of a sudden?
Well, have you noticed the same thing I have? If they stream from the communications page, you can't play it back.
Yeah.
If they stream from the city page, it plays back. And the only thing they stream from the city page now is the Dream of Dan horseshit or Dan's updates or whatever the hell they call it.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's right, David Williams. You're right. Don't they realize they're killing my show by doing this?
I don't think they give a shit about your show.
I think
they give a shit about people,
Mayor, today is when.
Oops. You're right. So, I guess rain check.
Update, that's what it is.
Yeah, the community update. Rain check with the Board of Works, I guess. We'll do the Board of Works then on Friday if they get it up by then.
It played once. Have you already played the Board of Works? Did you use your one-time viewing?
Yeah, I listened to it earlier, and the big thing that I was going to say, and somebody already said it earlier, but the claims today were $2 million. The city passed 2 Board of Works members because Ted wasn't there. So Lola and Linda voted in over the course of 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes, to pass claims in the amount of $2 million and some dollars, like $2.2 million.
Okay, well, let's Muni Docs.
$2.2 million. Did you try going into the comments and see if the video plays? Did you do that on a computer? Stumblefoot?
What the hell?
What?
Muni Docs doesn't have today's Board of Works stuff up.
Go to
Controller.
you went no go to here, let me see.
The Muni Docs under the audits.
Yeah. And they're not in there?
It's not in there.
Damn it. Well, they're really stressed out right now because we've got budget meetings. Like Nora said, we really want to respect them, and out of respect to them, we really want to try and get these, get them out of here quickly. I wrote an email about that to them. I will talk about that in a minute. Yeah, I'm not being able to get it to play. We'll have to come back. I've been trying on another screen. Well, let me see if I can get it going on my phone. That is good. Let me see if I can get it going on my phone.
I'll see if I can find an exact figure, Christopher.
Yeah, see if you can. That would be good. But yeah, I was shocked when I heard they said $2 million today. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Yeah, no, I can't even get it going. And let me see here. I'm gonna Board of Works video from Wednesday, September 25th, 2024 is not playable. Okay. So I tagged Slusher and I tagged Amber. So we'll see what happens. All right. Here's the community update. 4 minutes and 38 seconds.
Good morning, Muncie. Dan Ridenauer here, your mayor. Today is Wednesday. It is September 25th. It is a beautiful day right now. We've had a lot of rain, which we desperately needed, and I think there's more rain coming, probably some remnants of some storms that are hitting the coasts in the next day or two. A couple of things I just want to talk about. Last night, in addition to the council's budget hearings, there was an award ceremony put on by the Pilot Club of Muncie. And they provided awards to several public safety employees, including Muncie police officers, Muncie firefighters, in EMT, and then also some county public safety employees. So it was a really nice event, and we are very appreciative of the Pilot Club. They've done this for 60 years, and it's a great event to recognize those who do special things to keep us all safe. So thank you so much for putting that on. I just want to give a brief update on the crisis center. The sidewalks are now complete. The parking lot has been milled out, so it's ready for the asphalt to go in, which will be in the next week or so. But that doesn't mean it's going to open, and I'll explain why. The furniture has been ordered. It will be delivered sometime in October.
But that doesn't mean it's going to open. But that doesn't mean it's going to open. But that doesn't mean it's going to open, folks.
So that still needs to happen. Yesterday we had a meeting there, and it was all about IT finishing up and the security and surveillance and those kind of things of the building. Those things were all worked out, and we're just waiting on the furniture. And I think Meridian has most of the staffing now hired and ready to go. So as soon as we can get the crisis center opened at 8th and Hoyt, we will let people know, and we'll have a ribbon cutting. This evening, a couple other things at the McCullough Park Lodge in McCullough Park. That has been renovated. Cabin 6 is what we call it, but that has been renovated. Want to thank Gretchen Cheeseman and the Community Development Department. They provided the funding, and then Carl Malone and the Parks Department provided the ideas, and we've got that now renovated. And there will be an open house tonight. That will be from 5 to 7, so you can come out and take a look. It's a beautiful new, beautiful remodeled facility. It's not new, remodeled facility. So please come and take a look at Lodge 6, what we call the McCullough Park Lodge. The 2024, Ball State University has the 2024 Civic Learning Symposium this Friday and Saturday. The Friday event goes from 5 to 8 p.m. The Saturday event goes from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. There are a number of different speakers that will be invited, a number of breakout sessions that will be invited, including they'll have an original copy of the Declaration of Independence, original copy of the U.S. Constitution, as well as talks and works from Aristotle, Locke, Smith, Frederick Douglass, and a lot more. So if you're inclined and in that area, please check that out at Ball State University. This Saturday, we have at Cannon Commons will be the Walk to End Alzheimer's. It'll be Saturday starting at 9:30 a.m. I believe the actual walk starts at 10:30, but 9:30 will get you registered and get you all the materials. And it will be going on. They'll have a number of events going on, but it'll go till 1 o'clock at Cannon Commons. So thank you for the organizers of that. That's the Walk to End Alzheimer's. Also on Saturday is the 2024 Munich to Muncie Oktoberfest. That's a fundraiser for Eco Rehab. It'll be at the Yard, which is the former McCarty Lumber facility that Eco Rehab has taken over. That'll be Saturday from 5 to 8 p.m. There are tickets available. So please go to event.ontaptickets.com. Again, that's event.ontaptickets.com. And we appreciate what Eco Rehab does, and they've done wonders on that building as well. So look forward to that. And then also Saturday night is the Chamber of Commerce's annual gala. That'll be at the Horizon Convention Center. That begins about 6 p.m. We'll include a dinner and some awards. So that's always a nice event as well. So we got a lot going on this weekend as well here in Muncie, Indiana, and we'll look forward to talking to you next week.
Oh man, I don't even know what. I didn't learn anything in that. I kind of slept through some of it. What is this that you sent me here, Kate?
So that's what's on the controller's page.
I don't know what that is.
That's the last page of the invoices that they have submitted for September the 27th, which is what the Board of Works supposedly passed today. Now look at that number. And then look at what people who have actually watched the meeting are saying they passed.
Yeah,
I can do math. We're missing 1.6 million.
That's not. Yeah, that's not. They definitely said I definitely heard it, and a couple people put up on the screen, put up $2 million. I definitely heard $2 million.
All right, I'm gonna show everyone what I'm talking about. I'm sorry.
Put that in there.
I sent it to you because I didn't know if it was. So this is what the controller's office has posted in the city's page. For
keep doing that. I'm going off screen for a minute.
Okay, for September the 27th, 2024, the invoices, and so this is from the last page, and we see that we've got a grand total, and we've got 255 invoices, and the grand total is $597,293.56. This is what is posted. There is nothing yet up on the Muni Docs with under the Board of Works audits, which would include the email that I sent out yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, what
and it's just the usual stuff, blah blah, from Mr. Usual. But this is the number that the controller has posted as having been the invoices.
Yeah.
And if we're at 2.2 million, you guys said,
yeah,
then we're missing $1.6 million.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's fine. What am I thinking? I'm sure it's fine.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. So we'll look through this. I'll find out. We'll do the Board of Works meeting Friday. We'll get it put up there and we'll do it Friday. Since they can't apparently get that kind of stuff figured out ahead of time. I don't understand. But it is what it is. Hey, Janet, thank you for coming by. I hope you're watching and enjoying the show. Janet says this Saturday from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Rhonda Miller from Purple for Parents and the John Birch Society will give is giving a free presentation on Agenda 2030 at Life Church in Noblesville. So there's that. To thank you for commenting that. Okay, now we want to take some time. We're going to go in and watch the we're going to go in and watch the Finance Committee meeting now. I would like to just add here briefly that I told you guys the other day, I sent out an email to the council telling them, asking them random questions and telling them that I think that they needed to allow public comment, yada, yada, yada. For the record, I did not say this yesterday, and I do feel like I owe it to the counselor that responded yesterday. Actually, before the meeting yesterday, at-large 2 counselor Rose Selvey responded, and she said, I have no problem for public comments at the meetings, but as you know, it is not my decision. The committee chair sets the rules, and we have to follow them. Best Roe, whatever. Now, I appreciate Roe's email. Roe could always protest during the meeting and say, on the record, I think that we should allow comments from the public and put Nora on the spot on the record at the meeting. I don't think that Nora would like that. So, I wish Roe would do that. I will tell you that besides Roe, I also received a message. I've actually received a phone call from District 3 City Councilor, and this was before yesterday's meeting, Brandon Garrett. And Brandon Garrett said, hey, I just wanted to give you heads up that I'm not going to be at the meeting tonight. I just can't get off work to be there. When we started to talk about this and we asked, Nora said, when do you want the meeting? And we all told her different times. And I said, please make it anytime after 5 or 5:30 so I can get, be there, get off work and be there. And Nora's like, okay. And then Nora originally wanted them for 5 o'clock, wanted the meeting at 5 o'clock. And Brandon said, no, it's got to be after 5 or 5:30. I need to have time to be, get off work and be there. And Nora's like, okay. And then promptly made it for 5:15. So she made it for 15 minutes later. Brandon said also that he was not fond of the no comments, that, he was on the council before and Jeff always did the comments and he thought they should be public comments. And then he said, I will be at the meeting on Wednesday and I will be at the meeting on Friday. And I was like, okay, and he said he was going to say something during the meeting. Then I got a text message today from Councilor Garrett, and the email or the text message today from Councilor Garrett said, my work schedule is not allowing me to be at the first 2 meetings. I will be there Friday. This really upsets me. Sorry for not being there. So, it sucks that he wasn't there yesterday. It sucks that he wasn't there today. But I'm not holding that against him. I'm holding that against Nora. He told her before these meetings were scheduled, I need these to be, after 5:30, really to be safe. And she made them for 5:15. And, it is what it is. So hopefully he's able to go there Friday, and hopefully he will say that.
So why didn't he come at 5:45 and walk in the middle of it?
That is a good question.
Sorry, I'm late. This was scheduled too early. I was at work. Yeah. I'm here now.
That could have made a good statement.
Yeah.
Doing that, would have liked to have been here from the beginning, but this was made at 5:15. So he gets a little bit of a pass, not a total,
but not a big one.
Yeah, right. So it is what it is. So then going into yesterday's meeting, there was no comments, and we heard what Nora said. I wanna make it nice and make everything lovey for the people that have to do their big work, and all of the great stuff that they do, and they're so wonderful, and and a bunch of nonsense that nobody cares about because they get paid and that's part of their jobs. You know what I mean? So I want to bring you up to date with what I sent today. I sent an email to Nora Powell and to Dan Gibson, the council attorney, and I said, during the first FinCom, that's Finance Committee, FinCom meeting from Tuesday, September 24th, the council met with Dustin Clark at the end of the meeting. He was originally set for Friday. Anyway, there was some back and forth about whether or not Prairie Creek Reservoir received any tax dollars. Since Dustin has worked for the Ridenour administration, he has always said that remark about not getting tax dollars. I was happy there was finally some pushback, and I'm interested to talk about this. Councilor Powell then talked about the tax dollars that Prairie Creek Reservoir gets being on Form 2. As I looked, I do not have Form 2. I am requesting the following. Can you email me that current Form 2? And can you highlight on that document the specific tax dollars that come from property taxes that Prairie Creek Reservoir gets? For this proposed 2025 budget, I would also like to know exactly, like I'm asking, how much Prairie Creek is getting from property taxes. I would like to know that figure. If you could send that to me, that would be fantastic. So I sent that to Nora before the meeting. I then also, and to the council attorney, I also sent the following email to all of the council members. Hello, all. Just an email to express disappointment. Look, as a council, you, of course, are the fiscal body. But even above that, you are the representatives to the citizens. Well, 8 of you are. Councilor Basham, even though technically he still is a representative of the citizens, he ran to be a voice and a vote for the mayor. Anyway, that leaves the 8 of you beholden to the public that hired you to do a job. So the fact that you are unwilling to allow public comment at the Finance Committee meetings warrants disappointment. You all need to continuously be told anytime you have a chance to hear from the public, that is what you should do. I'm not interested in making it easy for department heads. I'm not interested in your need to try and get through this quickly. And to hear that the reason you won't allow comments is because you don't want to prolong the meetings is sad and bullshit, honestly. Last night, it was said there have been 2 or 3 times to speak before this, and there will be 2 more chances. That's right. And allowing public comment during these meetings would have allowed even that many more chances. The sooner you come to embrace the fact that you work for the citizens, the sooner you will be doing better at your duty as a council. The Robinson-led council were able to hold these meetings with public comments, and they did just fine. The moment you are able to live up to the Robinson-led council is the moment you will be doing something. Just an FYI. Also, it is never wrong. It's never the wrong time to do the right thing. So I sent that to the council before I sent those 2 emails before they went in to today's meeting. So that now takes us up in line to the meeting, and I do want to put up here on the screen so you guys are aware, today's agenda is the following: September 25th, 2024 meeting. The order of business was to be the mayor's office, the Board of Works, the controller, data processing, personnel, and the fire department. So those were going to be the items that would be addressed, and we will now watch what occurs. Look at Nora. Look at how happy she is with herself, how proud she's sitting in the president's seat, proud like a little peacock that she gets to sit up there and beat the gavel and do the work. Oh my God. For as crazy as it is for Jerry to be president and all of the madness that comes with that, man, I don't know what it will be like. I'm just not prepared to have a council led by Nora. And I fully believe that if or when she becomes the council president, she will be the council. She'll be like Robinson. She'll be the council president for the remainder of her time. Here we go.
Welcome to the Wednesday,
Listen to this first part. This is important.
September 25th City Council Finance Committee meeting. Please stand up, and gentlemen, remove your hats.
Well,
Join me for the pledge of
not this
allegiance.
particularly. I mean, this is important, but
the flag of the United States of America,
this is what it is.
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Selby,
Present.
Powell,
Here.
Julian,
Here.
Garrett, Basham,
Here.
McIntosh,
Here.
Mason,
Here.
Green,
Here.
Fishman.
Present.
All right. Again, two housekeeping items for this evening. As last night, there will be no public comment at tonight's meeting. We're doing this out of respect for the department heads who have been working all day, and especially Mr. Wright, who we drag to every meeting. And so you do have an opportunity to provide public comment at the meeting on October the 7th and also on October the 23rd when the budget will be adopted. The other is a point of clarification from last night's meeting. While some of the salary is paid for out of property taxes via the park department, and some capital improvement projects are paid for property taxes out of edit, those would not be in Form 2. And property taxes for listed as property taxes for the Prairie Creek Reservoir, and the majority of the budget is self-funded through their revenue. And thank you for that clarification. So,
Okay. So this is Nora seems like she's kind of like she got smacked down a little bit by this. I just want to be very clear. I don't care if it's $10 a month, $10 a year. If $10 of that comes from tax dollars, it's tax dollars. But something that Kate and I were talking about and looking at last night and we will go through this more tomorrow, Dustin, who is the supposed alleged supervisor over Prairie Creek, he's got a credit card in which he makes large amounts of purchases on the credit card. And the credit card is paid not by Prairie Creek money, but it's paid by City of Muncie money. It's paid from Edit or whatever. And so it's very important to understand that is paid by tax dollars. He continues to talk about Prairie Creek getting the benefit of Edit, which is tax dollars. He talks about getting the benefit of using American Rescue Plan money, which is definitely tax dollars. That's federal tax dollars. So I just want to be clear that though the majority of their money does not come from the general fund and it is self-funded, they're part of the city of Muncie, and a lot of their stuff comes from their own little deal, but they do benefit in various ways from tax dollars. So I just, I want to be really clear about that. Yeah, Prairie Creek uses city park employees for their projects. There's lots of different ways that they get the benefit from tax dollars. And before we go on with this, to clarify, GW, so no, Dustin is not a contract employee for his position at the reservoir. Dustin came in and he was considered in the role that was a department head appointee under Ridenauer. It was considered, it's called the Prairie Creek Supervisor. That is a mayoral appointment. It's not hired. He doesn't have to post the job. That's one of those things. To the victor goes the spoils. The mayor gets to pick the police chief, the fire chief, the building commissioner, the personnel director, communications director. He gets to pick the street department, the parks department, and the Prairie Creek supervisor. Dustin was in that position for a little bit and realized, hey, I don't like getting salary. I want to be able to turn in money and get overtime. So they took him out of the title of supervisor. They like zeroed that out and they put him in like a working foreman position. So he is a full-time employee with the city. I don't know if he's paid through tax dollars or if he's paid through the funds that Prairie Creek gets from their self-funded portion. I think he might very well be paid through the self-funded portion. I think they fund their own payment, their own salary. I'm not sure about that. I'll have to look into that. That being said, he is a contract employee in the other way, and he's paid through edit, and that definitely is. What they were doing last night was going over the budget, and so, that's where they talk about the biggest chunk is tax dollars. And so he was right in some of what he said. The bottom line is Nora was right as well, and Dustin just doesn't need to be so arrogant. I mean, it is what it is. Like, you're a public employee, Dustin.
Having said that, we will move on to
what?
He also fails to take into account the fact that Prairie Creek is city owned. Yes?
Mm-hmm. Are you asking me?
Yes.
Yes.
It is owned by the city. So the city has done this and let this be set up in such a way that their money goes back into Prairie Creek.
Okay, no, I get what you're saying. So Prairie Creek is rented. So
it's rented.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird deal. It is the city is renting it from some Japanese company.
Okay. So who pays the rent?
I don't really know what the deal is there. I think maybe I don't really know what that is. Let me see here. I'm looking to see what this is here. It's the Indian American Water Company that owns the okay, so it's not the Japanese company. I guess they sold it. It's the Indian American Water Company that owns like the land around the reservoir.
Okay. And the city leases it.
Yeah.
Okay. So who pays the lease?
That's a really good question.
That is another question that needs to be asked, because does that come out of their fund? Or does that come out of the city? Well, that's it. Fine. They lease it for $1 a year. Doesn't matter. That's
Prairie
$1
Creek is owned by the water. Okay, all right. Prairie Creek is owned by the water company. The city leases it for like $1 a year. So yeah,
it's $1.
Yeah,
of tax money.
It is tax. Yeah, yeah. And the whole argument between these two people that I just really honestly despise both of them. I don't like Dustin. It's kind of like the basketball games my dad would watch. I'm rooting for the roof to cave in. So I don't like either one of these people, and they're both smug and arrogant, and it's like blah either way. Dustin is right that they're mostly self-funded. They get benefit from tax dollars. I don't care what he says. They do get the benefit from tax dollars. His credit card is paid by tax dollars. He uses the credit card to buy things for Prairie Creek. He talked in that meeting about ARP money, which is tax dollars. He talked about edit money, which is tax dollars. It's just not the specific budget thing that goes on. But yeah, that absolutely is right.
And he also applies and gets grants.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And grants are federal tax dollars or state tax dollars.
Absolutely. Yeah.
This is it's nitpicking.
Yeah.
We're nitpicking, which I'm totally down with because he's full of shit with what he's saying. But he's being nitpicky and playing with semantics to try to get around the council somehow.
Yeah.
It was a dick measuring contest is what that was last night.
Yeah, because she kept saying to him, "You're right. You're not. You're fully sufficient on your money. You're not paid out of the general fund." She kept telling him that. So,
I said it's playing with semantics, and it was a dick measuring contest.
Yeah, yeah, right. Very strange. Very strange.
To the order of business, and we will invite Mayor Ridenour up to discuss his budget. That will begin on page 3. Thank you, sir. Welcome,
evening.
Thank you.
Good evening.
If I might, I would kind of like to touch base on maybe the Board of Works first. And I will tell you why last week we found a couple of mistakes.
Okay, well then
If that works for the
we
the
can
committee.
definitely entertain that. Or will you be going over the entire Board of Works budget or just?
Possibly. I want to share there's 2 mistakes. We made 2 errors on our part.
Okay.
One of them's pretty large. It's page 5.
Let us catch up with you. So on page 5, we will start that. Oh, page 5 towards the bottom of the page starts with health insurance. All right. What can we do for you, sir?
That is the error spot. So one of the things that I had been talking with the controllers about is moving the health insurance, which the departments have no control over. And it's in each individual department. I had told them to move everything to the Board of Works, and we'd have one line for health insurance. We did that. We played with that a number of times. And in the end, I said, we'll just keep it in the departments. We will tell people that starting in 26, we want to move it away so that it's not a budget item. We forgot to roll some of that out.
Okay.
Of that $1,226,504 that's in there, that should be $13,098.
Okay, yeah, that was a big difference.
So that is $1.2 million. So it's my fault. I had been making them play with those numbers to see if we wanted to do it this time, or if we wanted to try and do it next time. I don't really like it in the individual budgets, individual department
We
budgets.
actually discussed that when we were on council together in 2000.
Yes, we did.
And so
Yes, we did.
That is something that there is precedent for that, just to keep it out of the departments.
And so, but we didn't catch it before we had rolled some out, but didn't catch that all of it had been rolled out. So I have a little sheet for you, but that's $1.2 million. That is an expense that that we recommend you cut. I recommend you reduce that to the number.
Well, I have a follow-up question for you.
Okay.
The $13,098 for health insurance in the Board of Works. Who is that covering? What is
It's
that?
not an individual. Matt, remind me. That is the Humana. That's Humana.
13,098.
13,098. I have a handout I'm going to give to you after I tell you the second error.
I just want you to listen to these errors here
But
real
it's
quick. and we'll-
that is the Humana is
forward.
what is kept in there. So that 11,500 times the 13.9% increase that we're doing on insurance is what makes it 13,098. It was 11,500 last year.
And so Humana, and I'm just asking for my own clarification, Humana charges us a certain amount, or is that?
That mean? Yeah.
It's retirement insurance. It's
for
insurance
retirees.
For retirees.
Thank you.
So that's number one. Number two, we discovered that we had not submitted the correct amount on one of the income statements. This is not on page 5. This is on Form 2. Sorry, you're going to flip around, but I just thought it'd be best to get this out up front
Okay.
now, up first thing. When you look at revenue R902 on the Form 2,
Page 1 of Form 2.
Thank you.
That's near the bottom there. Earnings on investments and deposits.
we only had 30,000 in there. And last year we earned 582,000. We expect, and so that we're wanting to put in 550,000. We did talk with the DLGF last week, and she indicated that that's 100% acceptable. She would do that
Yeah.
for us at the end. Those two things together, so that's a $520,000 savings.
Correct.
So I think this will make your guys' life a lot easier. So I'm going to pass this out, but it makes, when you add those two together, now one's a reduction that we want to see happen on the expense side of 1,213,406. The other is an increase that you're going to see on the income side of 520,000. That net is 1,733,406.
Say that again, please. 1 million.
1,733,406. But I have a sheet for each of you.
Okay.
May I just drop
Yes,
one?
please.
Right. Thank you.
All right. So, you know,
Appreciate it. Thank
that's
you.
a good thing they
It is too.
caught that,
Yes, it is too.
and they caught that up front. That's you know, and that's a good
There we
thing.
go. That's
All's
much better.
well.
And it's big enough we can see it.
There we go.
Thank you. Okay, there we go.
Thank you, sir.
So the only other thing I really wanted to talk about here was
So I'll take responsibility for both of those. I know the one was
he now
controller on that. So
now goes out of the Board of Works and they go into the mayoral budget, and
the controller put in the salaries.
1%. 10%. One.
Data to have a better understanding.
Animated.
In right away.
all right,
$22
this is what I want to talk about. Listen to this.
$10 for us. And
Mayor, do you have data on the percentage of employees that are utilizing the clinic?
yes,
Is that, I mean, are we having a good return there or?
we're working on that.
Okay, that's a valuable resource
Mhm.
for
Yes.
our employees. Okay. Just, any other
Nora just seems so overly fake to me that I don't know. Here we go.
questions from the
Is that
committee?
clinic available to council?
It's available to anyone that has city insurance.
Oh, well, then,
I have a
just a
question,
sidebar or
if
something.
I may. Pertains to budget overall, but not
This guy is obsessed with this. Jeff Green is obsessed with this deal.
necessarily your budget. Department heads and cooperation between department heads. We had something brought up last night in building commissioner's office. He was speaking and he talked about a home that was demolished and they had a basement that didn't get filled in right away. He reached out to one of the other departments and they charged him $2,000 to fill that because he doesn't have his own excavator or backhoe or even a bobcat for that matter to be able to work. And I wondered why there was such a large amount that he had to pay.
Because it cost the other department $2,000 to do that work. This, I do not understand. This dude is obsessed with this. Why is he so caught up on this? It's not the city doing anything crazy. No one's taking advantage of anybody. He's wanting to be like, I think we ought to be helping each other out. We're all working for the same goals here. That's what they're doing. The building commissioners are like, hey, we need to fill a basement in. And instead of us going and renting the equipment and doing it and paying out the ass, or instead of us hiring someone to do it and paying $6,000, we'll ask the street department to come do it. And the street department says, okay, we can come do it. And they go and do it. And they're like, all right, that cost us $2,000. the street department shouldn't be out that $2,000 because it wasn't for their work. So they were going to pay for it either way. It's better for them to pay $2,000 for the city to do it, another department, rather than paying $6,000 to have it done some other way. Everything costs money. Nothing's free. And that's something that Ridenhour says. And I agree with Ridenhour.
To get that done, if we're all in this together and we're trying to keep costs down, I could understand paying the employee, whoever the operator was.
You don't pay him. He's getting paid by the city to be there. Then they're acting like they pay these employees extra money. They better not be getting paid extra money to be doing it. You go to work. Listen, when you go to work for your boss and you make $26 an hour, or you make $10 an hour, or you make $70 an hour, whatever your job is and however much you make, you get paid to do the job. And if your job says, hey, today you're turning the crank here, tomorrow you're sweeping the floor, you're getting paid whatever you're doing. So the people are getting paid, and then they're paying for the use of the gas or for the items they need, the material
For that time, and possibly for the fill that went in it. But it just seemed like it was a large amount. And I'm wondering, do the departments not work together?
It wasn't a large amount.
I think it's probably the opposite, but I'll try and explain that. So you're coming here and you're looking at everybody's budgets today, but you're looking at individual departments. Now, whether that department will get up here and say, look, we had an extra expense here. I mean, had they done it for free, nothing's free. So it would have been money out of their department that was actually for something that they're not responsible for. So when you're looking at these individual budgets, keep that in mind, that we do work together a lot. And when there may have been equipment that had to be rented, there may have been movement of equipment or a trailer. I don't know what the expense was that would have caused the $2,000 ish amount. But I do think had they not charged, it would be showing on a different department that doesn't do
common
that
sense,
work normally, income. And
then good job for the mayor.
Their insurance.
Then they go through insurance and everything.
Portion of that 200 or can you explain that to me? Yeah,
The contract.
Yeah, whenever we need legal services, it comes out of there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
They go through the Board of Works. They do that. They get through that. Now we're into the controller's office.
1% increases in the salaries like everybody else did, and really just made a couple adjustments here and there. I took training fees and travel was $1,000. We took it down to zero. And I moved that $1,000 down to premium on the official bonds. So paid it out of there because I've been kind of splitting it up because that's the way it was. And we just decided to put it into one. And we adjusted the postage, increased that, and decreased our telephone. And that was the only changes that we had.
So your raises should be 1%?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll adjust that because they're
1%.
All right. All right. And that goes for all then.
We don't have much in some of these other lines like other services.
It was pretty cut and dry.
Of steps to
difference of.
All right, this is data processing.
Taking
nothing
the other
happened
services
here.
Back to just 20.
Data processing is what it is. Here's now personnel, HR.
The Amazon Web.
Good evening, City Council.
Hi. Good evening.
I'm Patty Goddard, HR Director.
For most of you that have not met her, been introduced, this is Patty Goddard.
Met many of you, but not all. So thank you for allowing me to explain my budget to you. The only increased line items are to salaries, and that is 1%. The others have remained flat year over year.
question, and where did it go? The employee assistance
How do you
program is
decrease
zeroed out. And
telephone
I'm
costs?
just curious, is that something that we've discontinued?
The
No,
usual
we
adjustments.
absolutely continue to
Where
offer
is that funded?
I would believe I don't handle the benefits for the city. That is handled in the benefits department through the memorandum of understanding through the sanitation.
Okay.
Okay. And so, but I believe it's in other insurance, but I don't know that for sure.
Other insurance in regards to your,
Not in my line items.
Not at all.
No benefits expenditures that aren't related to my department employees would come out of my budget.
all right. Obviously I was concerned because that is a very valuable program and we wanted to make sure that we were addressing those needs.
I concur. It's a very valuable program and I utilize that very often with our employees. So.
So are there any questions from the committee in regards to personnel? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the last one this evening is the fire department. We'll start with their budget in the general fund, which is on page 11 at the very bottom.
So they spend they've spent 34 minutes going through 5 departments, and they spend the remainder 30 minutes going through the fire department. Nothing changes the fire department. It's just that the fire department, they spent that long a time with city police too. The city and the city police and the fire department are the 2 biggest expenditures on the city budget. That's just how it is. Basically,
$512.14. And 14 cents.
I know we don't deal with the pennies, but that's the exact number for you.
We do.
Well, and as we said last night, we appreciate any time our public safety can move some of that expense from the general fund to their revenue streams, because the other 12 departments, they don't have that same opportunity to do that revenue stream. And so that money that you're able to push back into play will help Mr. Tolby in the animal shelter. And so anytime we can do that, we appreciate that. And we appreciate your.
Yeah. And it's a line item that if we didn't, because that, based off the proposal that we have at this time for pay scale and contract, that is money that would not be. So based on when the contract negotiations and the collective bargaining ordinance comes through, then obviously we'll make the adjustments based off of those scales. But based off of what we have now, that is correct. And otherwise it would just be sitting there if not. So that would be the correct amount based on the 1%.
40. Okay,
I have a question for me.
absolutely.
The new fire station will be out on Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. That money that you had set aside for that is still set aside for that, right? Your
That is
portion.
correct. That is correct. And it's
Okay,
in
so
our
this is-
104.
Okay, it's not going to be changed.
No.
Okay, thank you.
And then, gas and oil is minimal. Question about household laundry. It went up over 100%.
Correct. If you go back, since we've taken over and we've gone through these things, our household laundry has been, completely spent by June to July every year, the last 3 years. So that's why we asked for the increase to make that whole.
so it's going
That's
through
what we
pretty
have for-
standard,
So we have that in the pension fund line item.
going through pretty standard questioning for the fire
We're getting
department.
ready to start paramedic school right now. So it's coming along. It's, it's one of those things, it takes a little while to build, but it is coming along. And it allows us to have, all ALS stations at least. So sometimes those firefighters, if they're officers, they provide the paramedic role from their engine assignment. But they still are on scene with that BLS ambulance and provide that ALS service for us.
Smart.
If I may jump to the training, please, training fees and travel. Tell me more about the training. I know.
Oh, I'm sorry. We have 8 firefighter paramedics right now. Sorry.
Thank you.
Chief Miller corrected me. He can figure on the fly a little. I was talking and trying to count in my head. So.
In the dual role, there's 8.
Yep.
We should be up to 10 by December, January timeframe.
Wonderful. Thank you. And I'm sorry, back
No,
to your
you're
question
fine.
about training.
Training, could you tell us where does the training occur? Does EMS train here in Muncie? What are your plans?
The
And
majority
explain
of
that
our, yeah,
25,000
the majority of our training is in-house.
in-house.
So we are a training institution with the state of Indiana.
Okay.
Chief Miller's a training instructor,
Okay.
and we do a lot of our training in-house. Now, there are classes like the paramedic class we can't do in-house, so we do send people for that. Tech
Sure.
rescue classes that are extended
Common
stations
sense.
that need it really bad. So
All right. Anyone else have?
ability for our malpractice, as we went through earlier this year, as you know. So we have done a lot of things already. I went back and looked,
Listen to this.
and our general fund, as proposed with the $240,000 that we adjusted today, from 2013 to this year's proposed budget, our general fund budget has only increased 3%. 3% in 12 years. Now, at its height in 2016, our proposed budget for next year is 9% lower than the general fund budget that was awarded in 2016. So the fire department is doing its part. We're trying to work with council. We're trying to take our burdens
And they bring in money with EMS
upon ourselves, and we've demonstrated that this year, I believe. So we'll be happy to sit down at negotiation time and see what can be done. But we presented you a balanced budget in our 104. So we can't encumber another $1,080,000. We can't do it, which we did last year. So I just wanted to, I hope that answers your question you asked earlier about that. You know, the city of Muncie, and I think it's all departments. It's not just the fire department. It's not just public safety. We all operate on a shoestring compared to a lot of cities our size in the state. And we are performing services at a great rate. Per capita, we are very busy, very busy. Public safety as a whole in this city is busy.
Yeah,
and we do
I
the
see
best we
that,
can
Kate.
with what we have. And we
She's
try to
the
provide
animal shelter
our
deal.
firefighters, paramedics, you know, we try to provide them with the equipment that they need to do the job, you know, to provide the best service that we can to the citizens of Muncie. And we try to do that responsibly. And I believe we demonstrated that, you know, in the past. I'm not saying that we can't sit and talk and look at things, but when you look at what we've already encumbered here into this, and this EMS fund is doing exactly what was presented to the members that were on this council 5 years ago. It would help purchase fire apparatus. It would help make improvements to our stations and our living conditions for our firefighters. It would improve the equipment that they use for life safety. You know, we would be able to provide a more efficient service to the city.
Oh man, I feel like I have been vindicated. Holy God, I've been vindicated and vindicated, vindicated, vindicated. Ladies and gentlemen, 5 years ago, in September of 2019, I sat parked in my aunt's driveway arguing with James King and his ilk and Jason Rogers, the old director of the Delaware County EMS, and his ilk, and a few others about how horrible Muncie fire-based EMS would be, and that I was just a liar just trying to get things in for Dennis Tyler, and I was just a tool, and I said, enough, and I pulled over in Trace's driveway, and I was texting, and I said, look, I'm done saying anything more about this. The bottom line is, one side of this argument is telling, see, in politics, very frequently in politics, it's not like the coin argument. It's not like you've got tails and heads. It's not like the answer is on or off. It's not like it's yes or no or black or white. It's a perception deal. It's like you're standing at the bottom of the 6 and telling me that it's a 6, and I'm standing at the top of the 9 telling you that it's a 9, while we're looking at the same thing and seeing it from the different sides, okay? Oftentimes, that's what happens in politics, and it's just a perception issue. However, there are these rare occasions where something is it's either a yes or a no. It is a black or a white. It is a 1 or it is a 0, or it is a 1 or a 2, or on or off, or black or white, whatever. And I said, this is not a situation like in normal politics. This is one side is telling the truth and the other side is lying flat out. So the future will happen, and it's just going to take time. And sometimes that's what it takes. But there will come a day, and sooner rather than later, where history will reveal one side of this argument being my side or Jason Rogers' side, or Eddie Bell's side versus Jason Rogers, or Dennis Tyler versus Jason Rogers, Dennis Tyler versus James King, whoever you want to look, fire-based EMS over non-fire-based EMS. One side would come out victorious, meaning it would be held up that one side would have been right and the other would have been wrong. And it wouldn't just be simply a perception issue. Whoever was right would have been telling the truth, and whoever was wrong would have been lying. Simply that was the case. And I said, let's just quit arguing about it. Let the chips fall where they may, and let's see what happens. Because one of these days, one of us will be right, and one of us will be lying. And I knew as early as September of 2020, just a year later, I had all the data that I needed to know that I was victorious. I was on the right side. We were right, and the other side absolutely had been lying. Lots of things occurred because of it, and I knew why they were lying. Delaware County EMS was a cash cow for the commissioners. That's the reason King fought it. I have always said, I don't care what the situation is. A smaller unit of government, if they want to provide a service for their citizens and they feel they can do it, they should always be given that ability. They should always have that right. If the state's doing something and the county says, hey, we think we can do this better for the citizens that live in our box, cool, go at it. If the county's providing EMS and the city says, or a town says, hey, we think we can do this better, cool, go at it. The city stepped up and said, we think we can do this. We think it'll be beneficial. The county did not want them to. It wasn't about saving lives. It wasn't about calls for service. It wasn't about ALS or BLS. It wasn't about any of that. It was about James King did not want to lose a cash cow, because the Delaware County EMS, that was the gold standard, the EMS program that was saving lives and kick ass and was awarded honors all over the country, was in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. By 2017, 2018, 2019, they weren't the same people. They were not ran by the same people, and service had went down. They were burnt out. They had been in a war zone with the opioid epidemic and the shootings and the stabbings and the shit that goes on in Muncie. You can take a policeman, a sheriff's deputy, a firefighter, a paramedic in Delaware County and give them 3 or 4 or 5 years in Delaware County, and they could go anywhere else in the state or outside of the state and get paid tons more because of the experience. We're not Chicago. We're not New York. we're not Indianapolis, but we have a massive call volume for our police, fire, and EMS. It is what it is. True story. It's like a whole different world in public safety here. And so that's what they didn't want to lose that. The county did not want to lose that. But at the end of the day, the city was right. And I am so happy that we are proven right. And what he just said right there, and this man wasn't even part of it. This man's reaping the benefits of it. The chief in this case, the fire department in this case, this council wasn't part of it. This mayor wasn't part of it. And I want to say right now on the record, I'm going to make myself big for this. Dennis Tyler, for all the good or the bad or whatever else anyone said about you, you did a damn good thing with fire-based EMS. And to hell with everybody else. Eddie Bell, whatever anyone else says about you, which nobody says anything bad about you other than idiots because you're well-liked by everybody. Eddie Bell, you did a hell of a job with fire-based EMS. Rachel Clark, you did a hell of a job with fire-based EMS, and screw anybody else that says anything different. The three of you and the people that you had around you that helped fight that, you guys and girls that built this up from nothing to what it is, you guys did a massive service for the citizens. The amount of lives that will be saved because of it, you guys own part of that. And for whatever bad happened, you guys did right by this, and you need to be honored because of it.
Council 5 years ago. It would help purchase fire apparatus. It would help make improvements to our stations and our living conditions for our firefighters. It would improve. I believe we demonstrated that, in the past. I'm not saying that we can't sit and talk and look at things, but when you look at what we've already encumbered here into this, and this EMS fund is doing exactly what was presented to the members that were on this council 5 years ago. It would help purchase fire apparatus. It would help make improvements to our stations and our living conditions for our firefighters. It would improve the equipment that they use for life safety. We would be able to provide a more efficient service to the citizens of Muncie. And it's done that. We don't have to come to the general fund to ask for money for truck purchases, for equipment purchases. We figure them in, we encumber them here, and we make sure that our equipment is in the best shape it can be. And we need to improve more. We are still improving. We are still building our ambulance service. We're still getting those things to the level we want for our people. So we're willing to work, but this is where we are. Those are true facts. Those are true numbers right there. And that's where we are right now. So I thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Are there any other issues that need to be discussed? All right, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn this.
I so move.
We have a motion from Councilperson Basham. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Harold Mason.
Bing. Let's see here. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Stumblefoot. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was the deal. It was what it was, and it was very short. There is no finance committee meeting tomorrow. The next meeting they will have will be Friday. This is what the thumbnail will look like. Then here is the agenda. It will be city clerk. That will be interesting to see what they do there. Street department will be interesting to see what they do there because AFSCME's getting screwed. Parks department will be interesting. Prairie Creek Reservoir is marked out because that's already been dealt with yesterday. And then Beech Grove Cemetery. And then from there, we will be done. Again, I'm interested to know where the departments are that they didn't discuss. The communications was brought up a little bit tonight under the mayor, so the mayor dealt with some of that, but we still have other departments that so far aren't being discussed, so I'm going to still wonder where they are with that. We'll see what happens. Ladies and gentlemen, we will bring it all to you. you can go back and you can watch these full meetings. We live stream them. We will live stream Fridays, and we will obviously have a special Friday night show breaking that down Friday night. We will be here, though, tomorrow. Remember, we will be here tomorrow night, special time, Thursday, episode 294. We will be here an hour earlier than usual, 8 p.m. Eastern, so set your dials. The best thing that you can do is check in earlier in the day, because we will have the duck made. We will have episode made. You can check in. You can hit the notification, set up that notification, and Bing, it'll let you know when we go live, and it'll be awesome. Tune in. We're going to go over that tomorrow. It's going to be a fun show tomorrow. I can't wait. I want to thank you for tuning in and being here with us this evening. We are we are also going to be I will talk about Sproles a little bit tomorrow because of this other thing that occurred that I found out tonight. So I will let you know. We've got a little bit of that. So tomorrow will be a fun episode. We will deal with all of that. I want to thank you guys for everything. If you can, before you go out, please give us a like. Tell you like us. Please tell us you like us. Tell YouTube you like us. Help spread the word. Share the show with everyone you know. Do all of that stuff. You guys are wonderful. Take care of yourselves. Have a great Thursday. The James Dean stuff kicks off up in Grant County this weekend, so that'll be fun. It's going to be a fun weekend, and we've got a lot of great shows. We're almost done, but we're not done yet. So tune in tomorrow, Friday, and you guys have a good night. God bless. We will see you tomorrow. Peace. You know,